What's going on, everybody? Ben back here, host of the Wilhelm Podcast. And I know I've been away for a little while, but I promise you this. New episodes of Wilhelm are getting ready to drop, and this season is going to be bigger and better than it's ever been. I've got so much stuff planned for this new upcoming season of Wilhelm. Movie reviews just like this, rather than putting them just in a written form online. You're going to hear them from me as well. So more opportunities to get the reviews out there. I've seen so many movies this summer thanks to advanced screenings and such. And man, I'm excited. There's a lot of great content out there right now, and I hope you guys are going to theaters to see it. But speaking of that, I'm here on this episode to bring you one of those full spoiler-free reviews. This time around, I'm talking about Superman. That's right. This is a movie that's been on everybody's radar for a while, and this is James Gunn's Superman. This is pretty much the movie that officially kicks off the brand new DC Films universe. And folks, let me tell you, this is a bold new beginning for the Big Blue Boy Scout, for the Man of Steel, for Superman. This movie is great. So let me set the scene just a little bit. I had the chance to check this one out early on the big screen, and I mean really big. I got to see this in glorious IMAX, and wow, let me tell you, what a way to watch this movie. It is colorful, it is energetic, it feels just massive in all the right ways. Before I continue, huge shout out to the amazing team at Allied Global Marketing here in Philadelphia, and of course, special thanks to DC Films and Warner Brothers for giving me the opportunity to see it in advance. I really, truly appreciate it, and what made this time a little bit extra special is that ordinarily, when I attend these screenings, I just go by myself, just makes it very easy, and I sit amongst the crowd of other press, other media outlets, as well as some like radio listeners, general public, things like that. This time around, I got to take two friends with me who I absolutely adore, and I know also adore this franchise. So it was made extra special that I got to view this screening with some awesome people in my life. So it was really great. But thank you, of course, again, to Allied Global Marketing, DC Films, and Warner Brothers for the opportunity. Now, heading into this movie, I was very cautiously optimistic. I've been a fan of Superman my whole life, and I've been burned quite a few times by not just DC, but Superman in general. I've made no bones about this. I have not been a fan of. I'm not a fan of the Zack Snyder universe. I think Man of Steel, whether you agree with me or not, my personal opinion is I felt that movie was absolute trash and not indicative of what Superman as a character is supposed to be. So you can probably understand my hesitation and my cautious optimism going into this movie. I went into it hoping for something fun, heartfelt, and inspiring, as opposed to the dark and brooding, which is not what Superman is. But going in hoping for that fun and that hope, that's exactly what I got. And the movie doesn't just try to reinvent Superman. It reminds us why he matters. It brings back the hope, that warmth, that old school charm, while still making the character feel fresh for 2025 and the future going forward. I want to talk about the man in the cape himself, played by David Cornsweet, who, the guy, man, just absolutely nails it. There's this humble, gentle confidence in how he plays Clark Kent and Superman. And when he becomes Superman, he makes you believe he's the guy. Not because he punches the hardest or flies the fastest, but because he cares the most. He's a hero not because of his power, but because of his heart. And you really feel that in every scene that you see him. Switching gears to Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, man, this was a total win. I didn't know what to expect, but he's not your like over the top megalomaniac. He portrays it controlled, brilliant, and calculating. There's this cold confident edge to Lex, thanks to Holt. And he's the kind of guy you can tell is always 10 steps ahead and really enjoys being smarter than just everyone else, not just in the room, but on the planet. Holt just gives Lex this very modern menace, and it absolutely works. And of course, there's Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, who is just fantastic. She brings this energy that's sharp, intelligent, and just totally magnetic. She feels kind of like the beating heart of the Daily Planet, and her chemistry with David as Superman and Clark is just absolutely undeniable. The banter that, you know, you typically expect from Lois and Clark, totally there. And as is like the mutual respect between these two characters. It's just fantastic. I gotta say, one of my favorite things about this film is just how much fun it has with its ensemble. You know, one of my fears going in was whether or not are we going to be introduced to too many characters that are just gonna overshadow the story itself. And that's not the case at all. Skylar Gisondo he plays this charming Jimmy Olsen, who's just very wide-eyed, loyal, totally earnest. Wendell Pierce, who I know from Suits and was just most recently in Thunderbolts over on the Marvel side of things. He just brings this real newsroom gravitas as Perry White. Edie Gathegi, who I don't know how many people know this, has actually been on my podcast, has actually been on this Wilhelm podcast a number of years back. He is just terrific as Mr. Terrific. I know that's kind of a cheap way to put it, but it works. Mr. Terrific's just a very cool addition. And, you know, all these characters, it makes the world feel like it's already in motion, which is something that's been missing and lacking from these Superman stories, these comic book movies on the DC end of things. Sarah Sampaio as Eve Tessmacher is just another interesting wrinkle. I won't spoil anything, obviously, but she brings just a little bite and mystery to the story, which is just fantastic. And of course, we can't forget about my guy, Nathan Fillion, as Green Lantern Guy Gardner. You want to talk about a scene stealer, man. He's loud, smug, and hilarious in exactly the way you want Guy to be, and exactly the way we know Nathan can be. Every time he shows up on screen, the audience at my screening just lit up, and he is just a ton of fun. He adds so much to the scenes that he's in. And yes, of course, we can't forget about Crypto. I love that we live in a time where we get a live action Superman movie and his super dog is stealing scenes left and right. He is funny. He's fierce. He totally earns the cape that he is wearing throughout this movie. So it's just the ensemble cast also adds so much to this film. What I really appreciate, though, looking over the scope of everything, is just the tone. It really does a great job of balancing emotion and spectacle without ever really getting bogged down in gloom or over seriousness. It's got that trademark Gunn wit to it, but it never undercuts the stakes. You can tell this was made by someone who loves the character, who loves Superman, and actually wants the audience to feel good watching him on the screen. Visually, Superman is gorgeous. It really is. Gunn embraces just vibrant colors, clean framing, and this sense of wide-eyed wonder that makes every flight, every explosion, every soaring moment just pop. It's a movie that actually wants you to see what's happening. It's a crazy concept, right? As opposed to dark and brooding where it's hard to see what's happening on the screen. I digress. The action in the movie, it hits, man. There's a couple of set pieces that really had me gripped and drawn in, not because they were overly brutal or chaotic, but because they were intense and earned. They had emotional stakes, and that's something I appreciate. And then there's one of my absolute favorite parts of any film that I see, the music. John Murphy's score is epic and sweeping, but it's James Gunn's curated soundtrack moments that really elevate everything. He knows exactly when to drop the right track to pull you in emotionally or give you a grin or give you a smile. In a way, the music is, yet again, for a James Gunn film, it's a character all of its own. And that's very on brand for James Gunn. And that's something I always look forward to when I see any film that he has done. All in all, Superman feels like the DC reboot we've really been waiting for. One that doesn't feel ashamed of its characters. It embraces what makes Superman iconic while giving him a fresh coat of paint. I'm giving the movie a solid 8 out of 10. It's confident, it's colorful, it's heartfelt. It's a return for the Man of Steel. And if this is the tone that the new DC Universe is going to set, I have a great feeling that we are in really good hands. Just the heads up, the film is officially hitting theaters this Friday, July 11th. It's rated PG-13, runs a little over 2 hours. If you can watch it in IMAX, I absolutely highly recommend it because it just absolutely soars on the big screen. Once again, thank you to Allied Global Marketing here in Philly, as well as DC Films and Warner Brothers for the opportunity to attend the early screening of the film. But that's going to do it for this review. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to Wilhelm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening right now if you're not already subscribed. Leave a review if you've got a second. It really helps new listeners find the show and helps to support the podcast as well. Word of mouth is always the best kind of promotion, so tell your friends. If everybody just tells 2 or 3 friends about the podcast, that's a massive help, so I appreciate that. And also, don't forget to visit welcome-to-wilhelm.com for even more film reviews, interviews, all things film and television, and the new season is kicking off technically with this episode, which I can't think of a better way to kick off this episode than with a review of this film. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for the support over the years. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, stay safe, stay super, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Wilhelm.